Our loving God in
Mwari wedu
heaven,
anotenda
we've
kudenga.
gone safely through another
Tasvika
week,
zvekare
and
rimwe
we thank
wiki
you
tiri
for
safe.
your loving kindness and for your truth.
Tinokutendai nekutida
That
kwamunotiita
even though the world is in
nezvokwadi yenyu.
turmoil and
Kunyange nyika
there's,
yakapindikuka,
our lives are not easy in many ways,
upenyu hwedu
we
hausi
know that
nyore
you
munzira
are in
dzakawanda.
your providential hand is
Tinoziva
over
kuti
all, and you've given
ruoko
us
rwenyu
light
rwakatambanudzwa
in these
pavose,
dark times
makatipa
to
chiedza
navigate this
munguva
history.
dzerima idzi kuti tifambe
We have
mumirondo
such
ino.
wonderful light.
Tine chiedza
We thank you
chakanaka
for the
chaizvo.
path you've put us on,
Tinokutendai
and as
nenzira
we
yamakatiisa
explore
pairi.
that a little more
Apo
tonight, we
tichifamba
pray that you would guide
muzuva
our
ranhasi,
conversation, direct our thoughts,
titungamirire
and just
pfungwa
bless our
dzedu,
time together. We
mutikomborerewo
think of
nguva
all
yatichange
those
tiri
across the
tese.
world that
Tichifungawo vese
are
vari pasi
preparing,
tenderere,
they're still
vari
in
kugadzirira.
preparation. Bless them. And
Vakomborerei.
we just look forward to these Sabbath hours as
Tinongotarisirawo
they are about to
awa
open for
eSabata
us.
maakuda kuti
We know
vhurira.
there's a special blessing,
Tinoziva kuti pane
and
zvikomborero zvakakosha,
we just thank
uye
you for
tinokutendai
all your provisions.
nekuti
So
providira kwenyu.
we leave ourselves in your care
Tinozvisiya
and pray
mumaoko
in
enyu,
Jesus'
tichinamata
name.
muzita raJesu.
Amen.
Amen.
So what have we been
Saka
doing?
tatu kumboita sei?
We spent quite a bit of time
Takapedza nguva yakareba
understanding the daily
tichida
of
kunzwisisa
Daniel chapter 8,
daily,
the continual,
Daniel 8,
what's
continual.
perpetual,
Chii chinenge
and
chichifamba
not
chichienderera
only
mberi.
tracing it
Hatina kungoironda
through
chete
history, but
kubudikidza
understanding how it
munhoroondo,
works,
asi
the
takada kunzwisisa kuti
principles,
inoshanda
the
sei,
ideology
maprinciples
that's
acho,
behind the daily,
maideology
which
ari
we
pamashure
sometimes call
pedaily.
paganism and we
Inombonzi
sometimes call
paganism, dzimwe
spiritualism.
nguva
The
inonzi
Hebrew word is
spiritualism,
gadal,
Hebrew word
the Greek
inonzi
word is
gadal,
hubris.
Greek word
We saw that it was
hubris.
represented as self-exaltation and self-promotion.
Self-exaltation
So
self-promotion.
once we did that,
Taita izvi,
we traced it even further back than what Daniel did. Daniel's dealing with the kingdoms of Bible prophecy, but we saw that it actually begins in heaven, and we looked at the mind of Lucifer in Isaiah chapter 14 and Ezekiel chapter 28, where Lucifer wanted to be as God. I will be like the Most High. And this hubris, this self-promotion caused his fall. And then he brought those thoughts, that mindset down to earth and shared it with human beings. He convinced them that ye shall be as gods. And it's in that temptation that human beings found paganism, spiritualism, that they could live a life outside of God's their own life outside of God's care and God's law. So we traced the daily down to the earth, and we saw the result of that is what we know as the sin of Eve. It was the fall of Adam and Eve, but it resulted in 3 curses. So once this mentality, this ideology is accepted, we see troubles form on the earth, and the results of that are these curses that God explained to Eve and to Cain and to Ham. That it was no longer possible that they would receive a blessing. It would result in a curse, and these curses are a result of humans trying to fix problems, the problems that arise or have given rise to those curses. So we have the problem of Eve that's going to be resolved. Humans are going to resolve that with patriarchy. And the problem of Cain, we will see just intolerance, etc. And the problem of Ham, we'll solve that by slavery. These curses were man's attempt to solve problems. And of course, it just resulted in more problems. So that what they were doing is perpetuating this gadal, this self-exaltation by man coming and ruling over woman, by the intolerance of others' beliefs, and by slavery, bringing other human beings into subjection. So each of these are the result of this treading down of another human being. So then what we did was we went on to look at Babel. So any questions so far? We're going to go back and we're going to revisit the spirit of prophecy. I think we might reread these paragraphs for context. So would somebody like to read page 118, paragraph 4?
I can read it, Elder Terrie.
Oh, we'll go Graham and then Marie. So Graham, if you could read this paragraph.
For a time, the descendants of Noah continued to dwell among the mountains where the ark had rested. As their numbers increased, apostasy soon led to division. Those who desired to forget their Creator and to cast off the restraint of his law felt a constant annoyance from the teaching and example of their God-fearing associates. And after a time, they decided to separate from the worshippers of God. Accordingly, they journeyed to the plain of Shinar on the banks of the river Euphrates. They were attracted by the beauty of the situation and the fertility of the soil, and upon this plain they determined to make their home.
So Graham, any thoughts from that passage? You remember what we pulled out of that passage?
We saw that separation. One group decided to stay up on the mountain, another descended, but as they descended they still wanted to promote themselves by reaching heavenward. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else I've missed.
Okay, so yep, that's right. There's been a division on the mountain, and those that came down from the mountain, what did they want to do?
Cast off restraint.
Yeah.
Forget God.
Forget God and no law. So now they've found a nice place to settle, and they've come down to the plain. So they're forgetting their Creator. They want to. That's their desire. No Creator, no law. They shall be as gods. No God with a big G. They'll be gods with little g's. Thank you, Graham. So Marie. Paragraph 5.
Sure. Here they decided to build a city and in it a tower of such stupendous height as should render the wonder of the world. These enterprises were designed to prevent the people from scattering abroad in colonies. God had directed men to disperse throughout the earth, to replenish and subdue it. But these Babel builders determined to keep the community united in one body and to found a monarchy that should eventually embrace the whole earth. Thus their city would become the metropolis of a universal empire. Its glory would command admiration and homage of the world and render the founders was illustrious. The magnificent tower reaching to the heavens was intended to stand as a monument of the power and wisdom of its builders, perpetuating their fame to the latest generations.
Thanks, Marie. So, Marie, what points did we bring out of this paragraph?
So they didn't want to do what God was asking. They wanted to stay a community all in one place. And they wanted to build this tower as a solution to their dilemma, which was the flood. And
so we don't see that in this paragraph, though. Just pull out of this paragraph.
True.
There's no mention of a flood in this paragraph. What do we get from this paragraph?
I'm cheating. I'm sorry. Okay. So yes. So they want a monarchy, and they want this to be this illustrious kingdom that's going to shine forth to all generations, and to tell you the honest truth, I can't remember what was brought out. Only that it's a monarchy, and they don't want to expand. They want to stay in this one place.
Okay, do they want to stay in the one place forever?
No, they want that fame, like that magnificence of what they want to become, to go from there out to the ends of the earth.
Yes, so first local, then global. So they do want to create a universal empire, but they're starting with this city and tower, but with the hope of it becoming global. So they found a monarchy. Does anybody remember who's their king?
Nimrod.
So he's their king, and the purpose of the tower, according to this paragraph, Anybody? What's the purpose of the tower according to this paragraph? Put your hands up in the chat if you like. Graham.
It's to stand as a monument that perpetuates their fame, so it continually represents their fame to following generations.
Do they want their memory lost?
No, they want it to continue.
Yes.
Is it almost?
These are people. Get on.
It's almost like they're rewriting history.
Yes. Okay, good point. Rachel? Did you have anything to add?
Pretty much what Graham. I think just when I was looking at both verses, sort of first group stayed in the mountain, when they left, I was thinking they left their faith and practice. So when they left God and they left, I can't remember what it said, but they left to come down to make their own faith and practice. So they left God so they can make their monument in their own. Like Graham said, that the new history.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Rachel. So their faith has changed. They no longer have faith in a creator. Their faith is in who, Rachel?
I guess the builders or the tower they're doing.
in themselves. So their practice is going to demonstrate that. The practice is going to demonstrate who their faith is in. And so they're going to build this tower so that they will never be forgotten. Which means if they're never going to be forgotten, they're eternal. You should be as gods. They want it to be a memorial to generations. They want their fame perpetuated. Perpetual, remember the daily, continual, perpetual. So they want to be recognized continually, even after they die. And it will be demonstrated in these engineering feat. Josephine?
I think that they've covered all the points that I had. Rachel and Graham. And you did a good job.
So that we see one purpose of the tower. Purpose of the tower is to build them up and perpetuate their name. So, Rachel, would you like to read this paragraph?
Sure. Can you hear me okay, Terry?
Yep, I can. Thank you.
Dwellers of the plain of Shinar disbelieved God's covenant that he would not again bring a flood upon the earth. Many of them denied the existence of God and attributed the flood to the operation of natural causes. Others believed in a supreme being and that it was he who had destroyed the antediluvian world. And their heart, that of Cain, rose up in rebellion against him. One object before them in the erection of the tower was to secure their own safety in case of another deluge or by carrying the structure to a much greater height than was reached by the waters of the flood. They thought to place themselves beyond all possibility of danger. They would be able to ascend to the region of the clouds. They hoped to ascertain the cause of the flood. The whole undertaking was designed to exalt still further the pride of its projectors and to turn them and the future generations away from God, lead them into idolatry.
Thank you, Rachel. So, what other purpose did this tower have?
I guess it's just that last bit there, to lead them into idolatry. Is that what you're going?
I would suggest that they're already idolatrous. The ones that want to lead into idolatry are future generations. So the minute you turn away from God, you worship something. So that's the whole point of atheism. We're seeing that it's still a worship. It's just, what are they worshipping? So they've built this tower to pretty much worship themselves. Ye shall be as gods. So they'll be worshipping themselves, and they want to affect future generations and lead them into idolatry. What other purpose is this tower for? So it's a memorial, a monument to their wisdom and greatness. Anyone?
It's to do with the flood. Is it to ascertain the cause of the flood? Oh, sorry, Marie's put her hand up.
Okay. Well, we'll go with Marie.
That's all right, Rachel. I think I was going to say something similar anyway. Just, I was going to say it was to protect them from the flood, so that they had that gold, yeah, that they would be could secure themselves without God.
Thank you. And Graham, were you going to add something to that?
No, just say the same thing, to secure their own safety.
Right. So what did they know? They're refusing to know God, don't want to know God, but what do they know? Ray.
They all knew that there had been a flood.
They knew there'd been a flood.
They didn't want another one.
Oh, say again?
They didn't want another one to come and kill them.
Yes. They didn't want. Is there going to be another one to come and kill them?
No, they didn't believe it was promised.
No. So there isn't going to be one, but they don't believe God's promise. They don't believe there's a God. And if there is one, don't like him anyway. So then the evidence is there that there's been a flood. That's what they know. Therefore, they're worried there will be another one. So leaving off their creator, they are left with no other choice than to worry about their future, because they know what's happened in the past. They can see the record of the destruction. It's evident. It's evident for us today. How much more evident would it have been back then? Even though the plane is beautiful, there was enough record that they know that this flood had taken place. So it was one object before them was to secure their own safety in case of another deluge. They needed to be able to save themselves.
Josephine? Sorry, they want to ascertain how the flood happened so that they can save themselves. They hope to ascertain the cause of the flood.
So we've got two practical reasons. One, it will save them, and two, it will also take them up high enough that they can work things out and possibly stop the deluge. They can work out how to intervene. They can work out how these deluges come about. Then they might be able to intervene. So we've got a tower for the purposes of self-exaltation. We've got a tower for the purpose of salvation, of preventing or escaping a global catastrophe. Would anybody like to add anything more from this paragraph? Okay. Well, we'll stop share there. So we noted a few things from the passages. The people have come down from the plane, so we've got two groups of people. They've built a city and a tower. They want to stay united, but it's short term because eventually they want a universal empire. First local, then global. They've got a monarchy under Nimrod. They've built this tower to perpetuate their fame in their honor. And they've also, it's protection from the flood, protection, and also for, let's put research. We might think of a better name if anyone wants to think of a better word there. So the flood is going to provide them safety, but also knowledge on how to either escape and or stop a future global catastrophe. So if we went back, I had to rub out the board. I needed to use the board this week. So I rubbed out the side that was the most messiest, as you would. We go back to what we wrote up about Daniel 8. When we saw the counterfeit, we saw that the two cultures at war here, we can see that the culture that has created Babel is very much a demonstration of Satan's kingdom. We can see self-promotion, horns, we can see self-exaltation. Can we see a host? What kind of a host have we got down there on the plane? Any thoughts? Graham?
And they wanted to start as a city, and then they wanted to branch out as an empire across the world.
Yeah, so you've got a band that they've solidified as a people with common object in mind, that is to build the city and the tower and to have global domination. So they're certainly, they might not be as an army as we think of today, but there's an organized group of them. So we could recognize a host. Can we see a sanctuary?
The tower.
Okay, let's go over to the true. So God had a sanctuary. Remember, there's two sanctuaries in Daniel, a Kodesh and a Mikdash. So the Kodesh is always, every time, God's sanctuary. What's the purpose of the sanctuary? I think we looked at that. Does anybody remember the purpose of the sanctuary? We looked at a verse that said, what separates us from God? Sin separates from God. And God said, let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them. So what does the sanctuary do?
Brings God to them. To dwell with them. Worship.
How? How is that possible? What separates us from God? Marie?
So the question is, what separates us from God, or how does he dwell with us? So sin separates us from him. So he sets up a system in the sanctuary so that that can remove that separation.
What does it remove?
It removes the sin.
Removes the sin. The sanctuary deals with the sin problem. You deal with the sin problem and God can dwell with his people. The sanctuary solves the problem. And it's the problem of salvation. So if we look at the counterfeit sanctuary, what's it going to do? It's going to solve a problem and bring about with the idea of being saved. So where do we see the sanctuary in our story of Babel? See your hand up, Ray?
Yeah, I was going to say that the sanctuary deals with the sin problem, but
Okay.
I don't remember. I'm not sure if we're talking about how there was like temples inside the tower that they kept idols in, but zvavaichengetera maidols avo pamwe ndikuzvitarisa nenzira isiri.
No, well, what is the tower?
Tower chi?
Well, it's a temple of sorts, like in and of itself,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Mairi pachizvayo
They've got, it is the tower.
ndiyo tower.
The tower becomes their
Tower ndiyo
sanctuary
inobva yava sanctuary
in two
yavo
ways.
munzira
It's
mbiri.
there to
Iripo paku
worship themselves
vazvinamate
because it's going to be a
ivo
monument to
nekuti
their
chave
own
monument kune
brilliance,
kugona kwavo,
but it's also
asi zvakare
going to provide
provide
a way of
nzira
salvation.
yekuponeseka.
They can get above the
Kuti
flood
vakagona
and
kupfuura
work out
flood
why the flood has come in the
voziva
first
kuti sei
place.
flood yakatombouya
So when we look at
pakutanga.
the true, what does the
Saka
sanctuary do?
patinotarisa chokwadi, sanctuary
shows
inotiita
us
sei?
The plan of salvation.
Inotiratidza
It provides a
zano
way,
reruponeso,
and it also
yotigadzirira
shows us
nzira,
what the problem
yotiratidza
was in the
kuti
first place
dambudziko
and
raiva
how to
chii
deal with it.
pakutanga uye
So
tinoshanda
we
naro
see
sei. Saka
we see this
tinoona
we see a way of
nzira
salvation there
yeruponeso ipapo
in Babel.
paBabel.
So far we
Saka
can tick all the boxes
tinogona
as far as
kumaka mabhokisi ese ayo
the culture of Satan's kingdom
maererano
is right there
neculture
in
yekingdom
the city of
yaSatan,
Babel,
tinozviona
which we would
zvese
expect.
muguta reBabel
What about this?
zvatinotarisira. Ko izvi
So we saw two princes.
taona
We had to go to Daniel 9,
takaona
but there
maprince maviri, takaenda kuna Daniel
it is there in
9,
Daniel 8,
zviriko
but
kuna
it's
Daniel
not,
8,
he's not named.
asi haana
So
kutaurwa zita.
in Daniel 8,
Saka muna
we've got,
Daniel 8
and Daniel 9, we've got prince
tina
with a
maprince
capital P.
neP
It's Christ.
necapital letter ndiJesu.
How do we know it's Christ
Tinoziva sei kuti ndikristu
when it's got a capital P? What's
kana
the other
ine capital
word
letter P?
that goes
Ko
with
rimwe izwi
Christ in
rinoenderana
Daniel 9?
naChrist muna Daniel 9 nderipi?
What's the word? It doesn't say Christ
Izwi
in
ripi
Daniel
muna Daniel
9.
9 hatitauri kuti Christ.
Something the prince.
Chimwe chine chekuita naprince.
Anybody? Daniel 9, is it Daniel 9:26?
Kana sikakanganisi ndi Daniel 9 verse 26. Kana mune mabhaibheri.
What is he referred to as?
Anodaidzwa achinzani?
Messiah.
What did you say, Josephine?
Josephine wati kudi?
The Messiah.
Anodzi
Yeah, verse
Messiah.
26.
Hongu, verse 26.
Messiah.
Messiah.
What does Messiah mean?
Messiah zvinorevei?
All right. Messiah means?
Messiah zvinorevei?
Anyone?
Pane anoziva here?
He's the anointed one or the deliverer.
Zvinoreva akazodzwa kana kuti anodzikinura.
Can we see that in the counterfeit?
Tinozviona here mucounterfeit?
What did Titus do according to Daniel 9?
Titus akaita sei kana chiverenga muna
He
Daniel 9?
destroyed the city and the sanctuary.
Akaparadza
Jesus
guta
said,
nesanctuary.
destroy
Jesu
this
anoti
temple and I'll raise it up in 3
temberi iyi
days. So
ndichaisumudza mumazuva
we can
matatu.
make
Saka tinogona
comparisons
kuita
to what happened
comparisons
to
kuti
Christ
chii
and what
chakaitika kuna
Titus
Kristu
did.
uye chii chakaita Titus.
Christ
Kristu
died.
akafa
He showed that he
akaratidza
was
kuti
the
ndiye
type meant anti-type,
aiva type
that he
antitype,
was the
ndiye
anti-type,
aiva antitype.
and once he died, then that
Paanofa
sanctuary and the city
neguta iyi
lost all its
zvinobva
meaning.
zvashaya basa
And of course, what did
mumeaning
the
yazvo.
Jews do? They kept
VaJews vakaita sei?
sacrificing anyway.
Vakaramba vachipa
So
zvipiriso.
Titus has to come
Saka
along
Titus
and
aifana kuzouya
literally
obva
destroy the
azoparadza
city and the sanctuary.
guta
But
nesanctuary
Titus
izvi
also,
zviri
we
literal.
understand, as a Roman
Titus
general,
tomunzwisawo
not a nice
seRoman
guy,
general.
not pretending in any stretch of the
nasina
imagination that
kunaka
he was a nice
aisapretend
guy,
hatisi
but he
kutombotanga
also
akanaka
delivered them.
asi
What was going on in Jerusalem at that time was civil war inside that city. They were imploding and they were dying. So they may as well die at the hands of Titus. He was actually coming to bring peace to Judea because the whole area was a mess. So in that sense, Titus was a deliverer. Very ugly look deliverer, but a deliverer nonetheless. So when we go to the story of Babel, do we have a prince, a deliverer, a Messiah? Graham, I'll go to you. You're down the bottom.
Is it Nimrod?
Yeah. Because what's Nimrod doing, Graham?
He's going to act as the ruler. Taking on the monarchy there. Position of.
Yeah. And in doing that, what's he hoping to achieve?
To deliver them from the possibility of a flood.
Yeah, of dying, of being wiped out. So, and I mean, if you're familiar with the story, he was also, the purpose of the city was to deliver them from the wild animals too. So they saw in him as a protector, as a deliverer. Josephine?
I was just going to say deliver from the wild animals, just like you said.
Okay, you're familiar with the story? That's right. Marie?
Oh, yes, I was just going to say that he was the deliverer. That was going back a bit.
Thank you. So we can see in the story of Babel that it's certainly the culture of Satan's kingdom is very evident there. In the city and in the tower and in their monarch, it's all the city and the tower is there to exalt them and to save them. They need to have a hero. Okay, so what we did is we came down to our history. And maybe if I draw this up here. I have to go here. Let's think about this. We're atheists. We want to forget about our Creator. Everything that happens is in the past has been from natural causes. There is no God, and if there was, then he's not very nice because look at all the bad things that happen in the world. So we are atheists, and we're living in 2022, and of course we don't believe, we've left off our Creator, so there's been no creation. We've evolved, and if we look at the geological record, then mammals have been around roughly, depending on when you want to start them, 1 million years. That's mammals. Each of these markers represent 100,000 years. So that's how long mammals have been around. How long have humans been around? Any guesses? Or you might not have guesses, you might know. If mammals have been around for about 1 million years, they might, maybe 1.25, maybe a bit less, depending on where you mark them. What about humans? 1, 2, 3 at most. Between 2 or 3, depending on who you ask, give or take a few years. So we'll go 300,000 years. Given that we're a mammal, we should have at least have another 700,000 years left.
At least 700,000 makore asarawo.
When we talk about extinction, it's something very, very common to this Earth's history. Something like 99% of all species that were ever created have become extinct over these millions of years. So extinction is nothing new. Lots of mammals have gone extinct, but the average life of a mammal is about 1 million years. So we've been around for 300. We should have another 700 left, 700,000 years left. But what are the scientists, not just scientists, but people of learning saying today? How long do you think they think the great men of the earth today think we've got left before we go extinct? I think we've got another 100,000 years left.
There's some hands in the chat, Elder Terrie.
Are there? Sorry. I was waiting for a marker to come up. Okay, Josephine?
No, I think I'm short on that.
Okay. Graham, did you have your hand up?
No, I saw Greg's hand go up.
Okay. So I'll go Marie and then Greg. Marie, swing the bat.
Well, I had my hand up for prior to this question, and I don't know the answer, but I have been reading a little bit of a science thing that's been coming up. It's not exactly the answer, but they're just saying that they're concerned that human demand is exceeding regeneration capacity in the biosphere. And population growth.
Okay.
Overconsumption, over exploitation, all those things. So, and I guess with climate change, what they're predicting now, it seems that there's no time left.
Thank you, Marie. So when we say no time, how much time, Greg?
Between 20 and 100 at the maximum.
Yeah. It's about it. So if you think, these represent 100,000 years, and here we are standing here, they don't think we've got much to go. That line's too big. anywhere between 30 and 100. They don't think, they can't see us living past that. These people, remember, we're atheists. So existential risk, global catastrophe, very real to a lot of people today. So we want to know, what are they escaping, or what are they afraid of? They're not afraid of a flood. And what are the towers that they're building to escape from this flood? So that was kind of homework. We were going to look at I think, am I getting the right word? Anthropogenic risks.
Risks are anthropogenic.
Anthropogenic meaning man-caused. Should write humans, actually. Let's do that. And
anthropogenic.
Okay, which is natural. So what did we find? What have you thought through the week? Did anybody see any articles? Look anything up? What do you think? What would be a natural cause for concern today? Graham.
The big one would be climate change.
Okay. Climate change. But it's not the big one. But we'll put it down. Which one will we put it under?
I guess humans cause that. So how do humans cause that? Through pollution, through destroying the earth.
Yeah? There's one thing in particular that they want stopped. What do they want stopped?
Carbon emissions, I think.
Yes, so the burning of fossil fuels. Burning of non-renewables, because they have a finite amount of them, and they release carbon dioxide into the air, etc. So climate change is a threat, because the Earth is warming. It has a lot of we're all noticing the effects of climate change, but when it comes to climate change being a global catastrophe, it's called runaway. I should say, let me put it this way, runaway global warming. As what stands at the moment, it's annoying and at its best, and it's devastating and it's worst, but it's not going to wipe us out unless it becomes global, runaway global warming. Then it has the potential to wipe us out. But it also could be caused by natural causes. We can write climate change or global warming under natural. Because it's what happens if volcanoes erupt. Volcanoes, if they spew a lot of particles into the stratosphere, then it stops the light coming through, and it affects the climate. So volcanic eruptions can cause climate change or global warming. Thank you, Graham. We've got Marie.
I was just going to comment on the natural cause there, the non-anthropogenic. So I was wondering whether it would be the impact of a falling extraterrestrial object.
That's the top natural one there, Marie. So an asteroid, risk impact from an asteroid. They say that it's asteroids 65 million years ago that killed the dinosaurs. But it's only relatively recent that they recognise that asteroids have done a lot of impact on the Earth. It was in 1960 that they worked out that what we now know as meteorite craters were actually, from asteroids. They thought, oh, maybe they were volcanic. So it's only 1960 that asteroids have really come into scientists' radar. They and then in 1980, they worked out that it was the asteroids that killed off all the dinosaurs millions of years ago. And did anybody see in the news? I think it was in September. It's called DART. Sorry. What did NASA do?
NASA yakaiti.
What have we got? I'm not sure who's answering who. Greg, did you know what NASA did? Back in wasn't that long ago. It's called DART.
DART or HART?
DART.
DART. DART.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry. No, I had my hand up to answer the question that you're asking.
For another one? Okay. Then let me tell you about DART and then you can answer. Oh, what question were you answering?
The ones about anthropogenic and non-anthropogenic.
Oh, so you're going to add to the list?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So asteroids is a big one, Marie. They have, it was even in the news again this week because they found one hiding in beams of light from the sun. They are scanning the solar system for asteroids. And they sent out a satellite. They called it, I'm just trying to figure out what DART stood for. It's not coming up, but they hit the asteroid to try and deflect it so that it would go off the path. It's just like the movies. So what they want to do is either blow them up or deflect them. And so they sent the satellite and it worked. There were two asteroids kind of close to each other and they hit one and they knew that it took them a few days to work out that it did actually work and they were able to change its trajectory. If you want to do something fun, because you've got lots of time to waste, Google NASA asteroid deflection. I'll just write it here.
NASA asteroid deflection.
NASA asteroid deflection. Won't work on a phone. You've got to do it on your computer. Anyway, that's just a bit of fun. Okay, so asteroids are a big one. They are constantly scanning for them, and but when we look at these risks, they do consider them an existential risk, but it's like 1 in a million chance. Okay? 1 in a million. So Greg, what were you going to add to the list?
I was going to, first of all, Graham's written what DART stands for. Double Asteroid Redirection Test.
Double Asteroid Redirection Test.
That's it.
Ndiyo
Thank you.
ita
Yes, because there were two asteroids. One was called Dimopoulos and the other was called Dimmer something. They were two kind of related asteroids and they hit one of them. Go on.
I was going to say under natural is resources. We're running out of resources, natural resources.
Okay.
Right.
Is that an existential risk?
Existential risk.
Because what's causing global warming?
The way we use resources.
Yeah, so we actually want to stop the use of those resources and use renewables.
Yes, but at the moment, the only way we make renewables is with coal and nuclear fusion, that kind of stuff. So even to make renewable resources at this stage, we're using oil and coal.
Okay.
Right.
So what would you like me to... It's not one that they're particularly worried about, but I'll put it on the list.
I was thinking resources like iron and oil, coal, those sort of things. Gas, natural gas, we're always looking further afield and to find these things.
Yeah. So we need to come up with replacements, don't we? We need... yeah, or we might be in trouble. Thank you, Greg. Marie, was that you? What have I missed? Oh, sorry, Josephine.
Josephine.
I don't know if these are going to go into your list, but I'll just say them. How about nuclear war? Or disease?
Yes, and Tinny's written that in the list. So which one does it go in? Nuclear war.
Nuclear war.
Well, humans would do the nuclear war.
And what would be the problem with a nuclear war that would be catastrophic? Like existential. Kill everybody. So we've got two types of nuclear weapons. Strategic nuclear weapons and tactical nuclear weapons. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, strategic nuclear weapons. Was there a danger of the whole Earth being destroyed?
Well, not in what happened at Hiroshima, but what if that's a targeted one, right?
So, and then you've got strategic is when you kind of dump it on another country that's away. You're not actually in battle. And it's large, usually. So tactical is what they're talking that Putin might use in the Russia-Ukraine war. So it would be local. There's different ways they could use them. What would be the concern for nuclear war as far as killing us all off? Ray, do you know? Sorry, Josephine, do you know?
Probably what I know is not right, but I'll say it as gas.
You've got to stop. You qualify all your answers. You have to have a talk. Yeah, go on. Josephine, you swing the bat.
I thought it might be the gas or something.
Well, okay, I'll call it. It's you're on the right track. Nuclear winter. Where all the dust and gas and
dust
particles.
ne-gas
Again, it's much
nama-particles.
like the global
Zvinoita
warming
kuti global
that would happen
warming
over here under a volcano.
inoitika pasi pevolcano.
And then, you know, the earth would get dark
Nyika yoita
and
dark.
crops would fail and everybody would starve.
Zvibereko zvotadza
It would affect
kubereka,
the
vanhu
whole earth.
vese
If you
voaffectwa.
hit, say, like 10 cities with large
Hita macities
nuclear
10
weapons, you could
nemanuclear
create
weapons
a
makuru,
global
unogona
winter.
kugadzira
So
global winter.
that's the catastrophic
Saka
effect of a
catastrophic
nuclear
effect
war or
yenuclear
nuclear
war kana kuti yenuclear
weapons.
weapon.
Raymond?
Rain.
Oh, I was just going to say, if somebody uses a strategic nuclear weapon, then the other side's going to use it back, and you have that mutually assured destruction,
vanhu vanogona kuzoishandisawo zvakare
which
kuita mutually
results in the
assured
nuclear winter.
destruction zvongorizauta mune
Yeah,
nuclear
so
winter.
you'd need about 10 of them, boom, 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 boom,
Saka
boom,
vanhu
boom,
vanhu 10
depending on what they use
vakaputisa
and how big.
manuclear ava.
So
Zvichibva nekuti akakura sei.
it would take more than two. And
Zvinotora akawanda
yes, you
kupfuura
would,
2.
it wouldn't be just one bomb that would destroy the earth, but that's the fear, is this what it would do to the atmosphere, and then
zvichakanganisa atmosphere sei.
we'd all starve.
Tese tobva tafa nenzara.
Ray, you got your hand up twice?
Hey, wanga wakasimudza ruoko kaviri.
Oh, that was for the dart.
Oh, okay. Brody? No, that's a different one. Oh, I see. So, any others?
Pane mumwe here?
Okay, let me give you a few what they're worried about. So, okay, under natural. Radiation from nuclear weapons. Thank you, Brendan. Yes, that would come under here. Radiation. Whether it'd be enough to destroy, like, totally make the world extinct, you would need a certain amount of them. Brody?
Global pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic. And we'll put them under both because they do worry about natural and they worry about, if I put it over under humans, what would I call it? We'll call it bio. Maybe if I call it bioterrorism. Oh, that's spelt wrong. I know that's spelt wrong.
Is it bioweapons?
Bioweapons. Thank you. I can spell that. Thanks, Rachel. Yep. Good one. Greg?
Overpopulation.
Actually, the scientists aren't worried about overpopulation. We'll discuss that. We're not going to discuss that tonight. But their answer to all these problems is not to, when we actually need more people, believe it or not. So we're thinking from an atheistic point of view. I don't know if that helps. But if we had said overpopulation, where would we put it? We'd have to put it over here, wouldn't we? So we'll put it down. Thank you, Greg. Anything else, Greg?
Destruction of under resources again. I thought places, like the Amazon and natural jungles and forests and stuff.
So we put that environmental degradation. Yep, because that would eventually have an effect on global warming. True. Josephine?
How about food? Not a problem.
Well, what about food? Are you talking about so when we're talking about bioweapons, what would that come under?
Humans.
All right, biotechnology. So we do muck around a bit with different food types, but if some malignant person, some company, some person decided to do something nasty, you could do a lot of damage, and people would starve, crops would fail, etc. So that would come under kind of bioterrorism. But yes, food sources are a concern. Thank you, Josephine. Rachel?
I did have a similar thinking, the quality of air, water, and food quality. I also had another thought, and I'm not too sure how to communicate it, but I was thinking from an atheistic standpoint, how they're wanting, women in traditional roles apart. And I was thinking that it was the underpopulation that they were worried that because women were deciding not to have children as much. So I was just thinking, I'm not too sure if that's relevant or not, but I just kept thinking that.
It is relevant. Too big a topic for tonight, but we will come back to it. So you've picked up a relevant point there. So what you're talking about is not really an existential threat. It's what do they want? What's involved in building this tower to save us from these? So hold on to that thought, right? Ray?
Oh, I'm not sure if this one's just like, I don't know, doomsday preppers or whatnot, but are they worried about an invasion from like some sort of intelligent life or extraterrestrials?
Yep. You shouldn't qualify your answers. That's yes. So what kind of extraterrestrials? Hostile. Just think all the movies you watched before you're an Adventist. Hostile extraterrestrials. Just the movies where they're going to go out there and smash the asteroid out. The extraterrestrials come down. Sorry, Rachel? Aliens. Yeah, bad aliens. Yeah. Thank you, Ray.
Thanks,
good one.
Ray. To you,
and Molly?
I was just thinking about famines and that.
So a lot of what we've touched today, whether it is a volcano, and we haven't put this one down actually. Super volcanic eruption. So just not your ordinary volcano, which is bad enough, isn't it, Molly? But a super volcanic eruption. And they can track just how many hundreds of thousands of years ago there was the last super volcanic eruption. Because there's been five extinctions, massive extinctions in the Earth's history. One of them was from a volcanic eruption. One of them was from an asteroid. It was the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, etc. So yes, these volcanic eruptions will affect
Saka
so
volcanic
volcanoes,
eruptions
global warming, a lot of these
global
things
warming
have to
zvese
do with
zvine chekuita
how it will affect the
nekuti
atmosphere and
zvichaafecta
then affect
atmosphere sei uye
water,
zvichaafecta
food, etc.
mvura nechikafu
All
sei
those things that
zvese
air
izvi
quality, things that are necessary for life.
yemhepo zvinhu
Thank
zviri
you, Molly.
necessary muupenyu hwevanhu. Waita basa Molly.
Ah, Tinny's hit the big one.
Tinny ndiye muomberi.
What has he said? AI.
Anzi AI.
When scientists think of all these natural
natural
threats, risks,
kana marisks SAI.
It's around the 1 in 1 million mark.
Zviri mu1
when they talk about artificial intelligence,
artificial intelligence
being an existential threat to human beings, try 1 in 6. It's a bit of a jump. What they're mostly frightened of is artificial intelligence. So I'm just, before we will spend a bit of time in artificial intelligence, won't be tonight, of course, and it might not be next week, but we want to, oh, we've missed one. Over here in the natural, the sun turning into a giant red star.
Giant red star.
So the sun is kind of it's in middle age at the moment. So if you can think of the star being about late 30s, maybe it's starting its 40s, but it's only got about 5 billion years left to live. So it's been around for maybe 5 billion.
Maybe
it's about middle
5 billion.
So what will happen is it will burn itself out. It will burn all the hydrogen and explode. Excuse my layman's language, but when it explodes, it's just going to get bigger and it will absorb planets. It may even come as far as Earth, but it's only got a shelf life of another 5 billion. The problem is,
5 billion years.
as it starts to break down, because just like us, we age prior to death, it would affect the Earth in 1 billion years time. So we've only got 1 billion years to sort something out. So the sun will eventually destroy itself, but also destroy part of our solar system. So Earth would become uninhabitable in 1 billion years, because we would have to move back. Where would we have to go? How could we survive the sun exploding? Can't stay on her Earth. Where would we have to go? We have to go to Mars. We have to go one back. Right, we need to be able to get to Mars. So, zombies. We'll put zombies under aliens.
Aliens. Ray.
I was just going to say Mars. We'd have to go to Mars.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I should have scrolled.
Marie?
I was just going to say Mars too.
Mars.
Thank you. All right, so my bad. I should have scrolled. Okay, so we've got a fair list here of our floods. The things that we would be concerned about. These are all concerns now. But we're keeping an eye on them, and the risk is fairly low. But there are scientists involved in all of these areas. Over here, with the human risks, these are the highest risks, and we really want to talk about artificial intelligence. So we've identified the flood. What we need to identify is the tower. What are the safety mechanisms? What is being built, and I don't mean necessarily being built in a literal sense, but what is being created to save us, and who is doing that? So it's over time. Does anybody have any questions before we'll leave it there for tonight? We'll come back and we'll revisit these, but we want to look at what the mechanism is and the mindset behind the attempts to save us from these existential risks. Josephine.
I was just going to make a comment. Just looking at the list and what we're going through, in my mind I was thinking, when you don't have God, you have all these fears of natural disasters, and then you have these fears of humans attacking each other, just a lot of fears. I feel knowing God is a great blessing, because you don't have to worry too much about all of that.
And that's where it's hard for us to really separate ourselves from our Christianity. Because we know the earth is waxing old like a garment. We know that things are breaking down. We know there'll be wars and famines, etc. They're all being prophesied of. But we also know that the shelf life isn't about the earth so much as it's about us staying here. We know the story. The people on the mountain also knew the story. The people on the plain, either they did know it, they don't want to know it anymore, or they just completely lost it. So they're absorbed about the flood, and there isn't going to be one. What's going to happen is they'll just implode upon each other. So
it's amazing.
We need to look at this and think, does any of this scare us? What is reality here and what is science fiction? Because science fiction is wrong stream of information if it's fiction. So there's a science that is real. I mean, asteroids are real, they're floating around there. But is that what is a threat for humans? Artificial intelligence is, how much of a threat is that really? Because people are very concerned. And the thing is, what we will have to do is define, well, what is intelligence? What makes something intelligent? So all of these things have been created by humans, science and technology, and it's that very science and technology that they're afraid of destroying themselves with, but it's that very science and technology that they want to use to save themselves. So it is hard to, I can only liken it to, I was raised a Catholic, and when you don't know certain things, when you're really in darkness, I know what it's like to be in darkness. I know what it's like to not know what happens when you die. Don't know what happens. And then you become an Adventist and it's like, oh, I know what happens now. You can't get that out of your head. Now you know. Knowledge is so powerful. It just dissipates the light. Sorry, the darkness. So these are people that do not know. They do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. The future is how long?
mangwana
future
kuti
is,
yakareba sei.
we
Mangwana
say 700,000 years,
tinoti
but we're not
700,000
ordinary
years.
mammals. We're
Asi
mammals
hatisi
that
mamamals
have
ari ordinary.
knowledge of science
Tiri
and
mamamals
technology. So we
anoziva
have the
zvesainzi
capability of
netechnology.
maybe
Saka
living
tine
billions of years
tine
after that,
kukwanisa
even
kukuzorarama
trillions, if we
mabillions
can
years,
harness the
even
science and
matrillions,
technology.
kana tikakwanisa
So
kudzidza
the
technology
mind
iyi
is that we could live
nesainzi.
forever,
Pfungwa ndeyekuti togona
perpetuate our
kurarama
fame,
chose,
but how do they go about doing
topepetuata
that
fame yedu,
when the very
asi
things they're
vanozviita
building
sei
are,
kana zvinhu zvavari
they're worried
kuvaka
that it's going to destroy them?
zviri izvo
So
zvavanotya
as
kuti
you
ndo
said,
zvichazovaputsa.
it can seem like nonsense to us because
Zvinogona
we
kuita kunge
understand
nonsense
prophecy and we're
kwatiri
Christians,
nekuti
but
tonzwisisa
it's hard to
profesi ende
do
kuti
is
makristu.
to step out of that and go, well,
Zvakaoma
what if it didn't?
kubuda mazviri
What
wobva
if
wati kukana
everything
zvisiri izvo,
was
ukana dei zvinhu
that
zvese
scary?
zvanga zvichityisa kudaro.
So something to
Saka
think about.
chinhu
And
chekuti tifunge
thank you,
nezvacho.
Tini, for your comments.
Maita basa
And
Tini
we might
nemakoments ako.
close in there for tonight.
Tinogona kuvharira pano manheru ano.
Ray, would you close in prayer for us this evening?
Ray, unogona kutivharirawo neminamato here nhasi.
Kind and loving Lord, we
Mwari
come
wedu
before you
vanotida tinouya pamberi penyu
the opening hours of the Sabbath to
pakuvhurira
take time out
sabata
from the things that have preoccupied our minds throughout the week
tichibvisa zvinhu zvakambove nemupfungwa medu pakati pewiki,
on
tichizotarisawo
all that you have
nekufunga
done.
pane zvese zvamakaita.
As we take this time throughout the
Pakutora
Sabbath,
nguva ino
which you
musabata
give
rese
us
yamakatipa
as a memorial of creation
sekurangarira
all the
creation,
way back in Eden.
kudzokera kwese
Help
kusvika
our
kuEden.
minds to meditate
Betserei pfungwa dzedu
on the
dzikwanisewo
implications
kufunganya
of
pamaimplications
of
ezvinhu izvi.
the Eden that you are calling us
EEden
to
yamuri kutidaidzira
live every
kwairi
day.
kuti tirarame zuva nezuva.
We pray that you will be with
Tinonamata kuti
our
munge
leaders,
muine
with Elders Tess and
vatungamiri
Paminda,
vedu, Elder
be
Tess
with Elder
naPaminda,
Terrie
vaina
and
Elder Terrie
various leaders around the world.
nematungamiri
Be
vari
with those in our
pasitenderera,
movement who are preparing
vaine
for the
vese
Sabbath
vari movement
as well.
vasiri
And
pasabata rino
help
nhasi.
us to understand the importance
Mutidetserewo
of the time we're in,
kunzwisisawo
the solemnity of the work that you are calling us to,
basa kukosha
and
kwarakaita ramakatidaidza
the
mariri.
tools that you have given us to see clearly through the complexity.
Tidetsere
We
tionewo
thank you for our blessing.
zviri complex izvi.
In Jesus' name we pray.
Tokutendai
Amen.